What's going on, everyone? It's your boy Uch back in once again. And we have a pretty. I don't want to say melodramatic, but it's definitely a different tone of topic that I wanted to talk to you guys about. Get my thoughts out there, kind of break down exactly what's going on. And I stumbled upon this article off the Washington Post that pretty much details the order in which everything was going down as far as the obvious E3 2020 being canceled. So we all know why. It says it right in front of you. Weirdly enough, if you like name drop the the virus, for some reason videos are getting like demonetized and whatnot. That's probably why you don't see it in the title on this video, but we're just trying to take safe measure here, but I don't know why YouTube would be weird about this kind of thing because this is a freaking epidemic. But anyway, so yeah, it's canceled. E3. For those that don't know, E3 is the Electronics Entertainment Expo, that is most importantly known for, the video game industry, and it's known for the big announcements, reveals that happen, and it's once a year. I mean, even though there are other conferences and other conventions and meetings and publishers and developers and the studios, they might have their own like announcements and whatnot. Like this is a pretty big deal, especially for the video game world because this is like the one central location where most of the world is definitely paying attention for what's to come for the remainder of the year and the years to come in video games. Um, but because of everything that's been going on, it's with a heavy heart that they obviously had to take into to really heavy consideration of canceling this. And as you can see right here, it was scheduled for June 9th to the 11th in LA, and it's shut down. So following increased and overwhelming concerns about the COVID-19 virus, we felt that this was the best way to proceed during such an unprecedented global situation. We're very disappointed that we are unable to hold this event for our fans and supporters, but we know it's the right decision based on the information. Sorry about that. But yeah, um so basically like what happened. So what I'm gonna do now is I'm pretty much just gonna like go over like the order of what stuff happened. Um, it kind of started off as like little trickles of rumors, like the possibility that E3 is gonna get canceled because E3 is not even the only one, the only big like I guess you call it a big thing or big gathering, or especially like one of these events that hold like hundreds and thousands, well maybe not that many, but like thousands upon thousands of people at a time for sure, which obviously increases the risk of this virus spreading and more people getting sick and whatnot obviously. So Devolver Digital right here, as this article points out, they were the first ones I feel like to say cancel your E3 flights and hotels, which is a pretty big it's a pretty big thing to kind of just put out there. But obviously everyone's been scared, and everyone's just trying to stay as safe as possible. A lot of flights are kind of going down in price. We recently just got a ban from Europe, like the European countries. You can't fly here. You can't fly to the U.S. So there's a 30-day travel ban on that. Like there's a lot of things. NBA is even suspended. Like it's crazy. But as far as E3 is concerned, like this is huge. So let's see here. So they're monitoring and evaluating the situation daily. Now this is during the rumor mill, right? But then PlayStation, it was announced that PlayStation was even skipping E3, which is a pretty big deal because Nintendo pulled out last year because Nintendo's kind of always been like their own type of, I don't even know, like they're very inclusive with themselves, and I definitely I think that now that PlayStation is pulling out, all you really have is like Xbox, Ubisoft, Bethesda, and then just other like big studios like Capcom and whatnot that will have their time, but it's just it won't feel the same at all, right? So now that we know that PlayStation is skipping, this was part of the rumors. Boom, like it led into obviously what we know now. So yeah, so I'll include a link to this article in the description below, so you guys can like check out the precise details of everything that's going down. But more importantly, what I wanted to talk to you guys about is kind of give you like my whole perspective of this and like what this means for gamers and what this means for the game industry. Obviously, this is a pretty big deal. Obviously, this is a very serious situation that I'm sure lots of folks are trying to figure out exactly what to do, where to go from here, how to, handle themselves, and like, a bunch of other questions, I'm sure. And it's very scary. It's a very real situation that, like myself, like I've been affected, not, by coming into contact with the virus so far, but like the fact that I can't really travel all that much like I normally would, because like as some of you might know, I do lots of traveling all throughout the year for my commentary. I go to various tournaments for fighting games, competitive fighting games. I commentate a bunch of different games. Dragon Ball Fighter, Smash Brothers, Pokken Tournament, Power Rangers Battle for the Grid, and I was starting to get into Tekken and some Street Fighter and whatnot. But I've been doing this for about 6 years professionally now, and now this is like the first time in like a very long time, actually, first time ever that I've actually had to cancel plans on attending a tournament for something like this. Like that's work for me, So what does this mean? What does this mean for E3? So like for gamers, I guess in general. So like yes, like E3 is known for E3 is known for um for having everyone's having their attention, their eyes on this conference. Everyone has their predictions on what might get announced because this is the spot to do it at. But unfortunately, considering that it's no longer a thing now, unless there's some miracle that happens within the next few weeks or maybe even within the next couple months, and I'm not sure if that's something that they could just kind of bring back last minute, because there's a lot of planning and scheduling and whatnot that goes behind behind the scenes into these events, and E3 is not some dinky thing that they could just run it out of nowhere right down the street and call it a day. Like I'm sure this takes several months of planning and whatnot. So I'm sure this is a very huge letdown, of course. Like a lot of gamers, a lot of fans that look forward to just gathering with friends. Because I know me personally, like this definitely hits home and it hits hard because um, it's kind of been a tradition for me and my group of friends where we gather at one of our boys' houses and we sit around the TV. We watch literally every conference live, and we are just excited, and especially for games that we're really looking forward to. I mean, I could recall two E3s ago where Smash Ultimate wasn't even out yet, and this was the big reveal where Nintendo was still there. That was the last year Nintendo was there, and Nintendo revealed how all of the characters were coming back. Like all the previous characters from every single Smash iteration will make a return in Smash Ultimate. Like everyone comes home, right? And of course, that was also the big reveal for Ridley. And there's a lot of really amazing announcements for games and future IPs that might be brand new that we never heard about. And it's definitely very heartbreaking. So I know for a fact that even though there won't be any E3, that does not mean that we still won't get those announcements. We won't get like the surprises, and I'm sure that in lieu of all this, I'm sure the developers and the studios and the publishers behind whatever they had planned to reveal, who knows, they might still put on some kind of online version where it's like a conference, or whether they all do them at their own time individually. That's completely up to them. But I do know that whatever um, was in store for us, we're still going to get. It's just not going to be in the style and the way we would have wanted to receive the news and receive the reveals and whatnot. And yeah, it's definitely not going to feel the same. But you know what? At the end of the day, um, this epidemic that we're going through right now, you know, God willing, it will pass. There will be some kind of vaccine. It will be a cure, and who knows how farther down the line in life we'll have until like everything goes back to normal. But I have high hopes and I have good faith that we'll be back, and I feel like next year we'll definitely have an E3, and all the things that got canceled this year will be back. But of course, God willing, and just gotta keep your hands clean, stop touching your face, wash your ass. The normal hygiene stuff you gotta make sure you're doing anyway. Um, and just gotta continue that. Now, any other things outside of like what this could mean for the industry itself? I mean, obviously, this is like I keep saying, like this is a pretty big deal. Um, with a lot of people being quarantined and not a lot of people out here like working. I'm sure like not every job is the same, and I know that some jobs have been paying their employees even while being quarantined or forced to stay at home or whatever, because I mean that's the right thing to do. But I guess there's really only so much money that can go around unless like the government or whatever, like they get involved and they're really like supporting the people of the world, and they're making sure that we're all good, and like we can get to a point where once this whole thing is over and done with, then that way we can actually continue to keep living the way that we have been with how society works and blah blah blah. But you know as far as the gaming industries goes, I don't know. I just hope that you know this won't really halt any kind of production values on games, or if I mean, I wouldn't be surprised if certain games were delayed. But then again, a lot of these developers, they work in a very close space, in an office building somewhere. It's just really the distribution and importing. That's what's gonna really affect us, because unless we're doing games digitally, which I mean isn't that big of a problem. I don't really have a problem with digital games, but I know a lot of us do love our physical copies and our physical collections. I am a sucker for that as well. But when push comes to shove, I mean, it's definitely going to affect the gaming industry and that level. Um, and of course, since I'm sure if we go into some kind of crazy economic like, ugh, like I don't even want to think of that. Like that it'll only be until that point where we hit an all-time low, where it's almost like we have to hit another recession, and then it's not even just the gaming industry at that point. It's every industry that takes a huge hit. So all we can do is have good hope, good faith. It sucks that E3 is gonna get canceled, but it's not the end of the world, and we will still be getting our announcements and reveals and whatnot. Just not the way that we have been used to for all these years that they've been doing E3. So with that all in mind, guys, let me know what your guys' thoughts are in the comments. Let me know your favorite moments of E3. Let's bring some positivity to this, because I know it's a very gloomy and very awkward and strange. It's been a very strange few weeks and months, and I definitely I want us to find some kind of light, bring back some memories, talk about the good stuff, and hopefully you never know. I mean, tomorrow we could wake up and there could be a cure to this, and then we'll just go right back to how things were. So, but yeah, guys, make sure you're taking care of yourselves. Wash your hands, wash your ass, all that good stuff. Like the video, please. Hit those links in the description so you can continue to support the channel. Take care of yourselves. Have a good one. May the power protect you guys. I'll see y'all in the next one.